Hi, this is Joelle, and this tutorial is on how to create passages. The purpose of the passage feature is to break down a project into smaller sections for practice. Passages can be any length, and you may make as many passages as you want. Passages can be set at tempo or else at a tempo reduction or a slight tempo increase. Reducing or increasing the tempo will not affect the pitch. Okay, so the first thing that you do to create a passage is to navigate to the select group page of the project in which you wish to create a passage. I'm in the Battaglia Geschlacht, and I'll click Passages down here at the bottom. Now I'm on the Practice Passage page. After the audio from my reference tracks load, I can see the visual representation of the audio in my project. So let's say that there's a tough spot in measures 123 to 127, and I really want my students to just be able to focus on practicing that part without needing to record the whole project. So I'm going to just move around these start and end points to find measures 123 to 127, and I'm going to do that by listening to the audio, and I'm also going to be looking at the score. So this part of the process is just guessing and checking. So I'll go ahead and guess and check some. I'm going to skip to when I find something that works. Okay, so now I found the passage that I want. But now I'm going to want to extend the passage to begin a bit earlier so that my students will have a measure or so to count in prior to the passage actually beginning. And you'll probably want to build in a count and measure for yourself as well, just since Cyborg Llama isn't going to be able to give you a count in since you're starting in the middle of the project. And at this time, Cyborg Llama is not able to determine what beat you're starting on. So you want to give a little bit of a buffer at the beginning so that people are going to be able to jump into the passage on time. So I'm going to say that I want one count and measure, and then I'm going to look around a little bit more until I find that point of one measure count in. Okay, so now I found the exact passage I want, so I'll name it whatever I want. I'm just going to name it the measure excerpt and label it one measure count in so that my students will know how much they need to count before coming in, and then I'm going to select the tempo that I want. I can choose slightly faster, which is an increase to 5% of the tempo, or I could choose to make the passage at tempo. Slightly slower, 10% slower, 20% slower, or a lot slower, which is 40% slower. For this passage, I want it to be available at 20% slower, so then I will click Create. The screen will reload, and now I can see I successfully created a passage and have a new section on this page called Manage Passages, where my created passage has saved. Since I'm a primary user, meaning that I've paid for a subscription myself, all the passages I create will be shared with my secondary users. So those are all the people that I've added to my account. So all my secondary users will be able to see and use my passages. Secondary users can create their own passages, but those passages will be for their personal use only and will not be shared with others. From here, if I mouse over the passage name, I can see that I have some more options. I could edit the passage, or I could open this passage into either practice or individual mode. If you want to know how to edit a passage, you can watch the Edit Passage tutorial, or if you want to know how passages work in either practice or individual mode, you can watch those tutorials. Okay, this concludes the tutorial.